In the past few years, especially during the pandemic, we saw a huge shift in the way people watch television and the services they use, with a big jump in streaming. Has this shift changed the way that political campaigns behave in some of their strategies?
Well, I think it's important that campaigns are using a media mix that is really addressing where the voters' eyeballs are at. And we've seen a large shift away from traditional linear broadcast television into more streaming platforms, CTV and OTT, but also just digital consumption in general being up. And so it's really important for campaigns to have their media dollars going towards the screens that are being watched.
And have you found that connected TV or over-the-top media channels can be cost prohibitive, or how do you compare those with other ones? And what are some of your ideas about the media mix?
Well, I think it's important to be willing to pay the price that is commensurate with the quality of the impression or the channel that you're working with. And so you have to have a mix that's going to allow you to spend more money to get the premium inventory on CTV and OTT inventory that's on the largest screen of the house. But you also have to be willing to follow that up with additional longer tail inventory, not just for budgetary reasons, but with the shift of eyeballs away from linear TV, a lot of that has been replaced by streaming services that are not ad supported. And in order to reach those voters, you're going to have to be spending your media dollars in a multitude of different ways to try and capture the previously easily capturable eyeballs of those voters. And so, if someone cuts the cord and they are now subscribing to Netflix and the ad-free version of Hulu, in order to reach that voter, you may not be able to do that necessarily directly with the standard CTV. You have to go to other sources online, whether it be programmatic video or other direct placements for sites that user would ultimately be on.
And so how should political media teams, rethink their messaging and managing their budgets?
Well, it really is about, I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but you have to be using the right technology and the right services to figure out how you're reaching the right voters. And this is one thing where you have to be willing to do the legwork or work with a vendor that is going to help you through this process and understand that different parts of the electorate are going to be spending time in different places online or offline. And this is part of the broader campaign strategy in general, and really tailoring that mix to the audience that you're trying to reach. And with the data that's available, with the technology that's available, you can be unbelievably precise with this. But it's also important to make sure that you're not going too small, too precise, and really slicing and dicing your audience too far, where you're losing the broader connective messaging that will bring campaigns together. And that's something that, in a linear world, you would have you do have a much larger buy that is less data targeted, but really getting your message out in a broad way. And that's something that you also have to be able to replicate in a digital environment.
Okay. And so how does your company and its services fit in with the supply chain for political campaigns that are trying to get access to certain ad inventories?
Yeah, at DSPolitical, our entire mission is about selling really high quality media tied to high quality data and making it easy for democratic and progressive candidates and causes. So we operate a platform called Deploy, which is a meta onboarder and meta demand side platform that allows campaigns to easily find their target audiences and then activate them online. And we really focus on broad reach and broad scale, because when you're reaching those individual voters, a lot of the time, this is a very small portion of the electorate that is persuadable, and you're in a very confined geography. And so you need to have as many channels and paths into that voter's eyeballs as humanly possible. And so we really work on making that easy, fast, and cost effective for the democratic and progressive political advertiser.
And when it comes to this patchwork of political transparency laws in different states, how do companies think about compliance and making sure that they don't violate any kind of laws?
Well, I think a lot of companies and advertisers just aren't aware that these exist. And this is something that we have spent a huge amount of time investing in research and understanding exactly what you need to do in order to be compliant. And so if you're an advertiser, you need to be asking the questions of your vendors if they are adhering to all of the political transparency and compliance laws at the municipal, state, and federal level. It really is a patchwork of regulations that's unbelievably complicated and is something that needs to, be paid attention to. You also have industry self-regulation, where you see things like the political ad icon supported by the DAA trying to help mitigate some of these headaches. But it's something that both the vendors as well as the advertisers need to spend a lot more time thinking about.
Okay, and finally, I'd just like to hear your thoughts on what's top of mind going into the midterms. There's a lot of discussion about it being really a critical election season, that the leadership of the House may be in play. Is there anything that you're most concerned about or excited about looking ahead?
Well, I think, it's an exciting election period. It's going to be a busy election period, and it's going to be a highly contested election period. My advice to advertisers would be to start early. You are going to have, more competition the closer you get to the election. And really being able to get out there and define your message early is going to be more important than ever. Not to mention that has the added benefit of being more cost effective as competition heats up for the inventory the closer to election that you get. And so it really is something that you want to start your advertising on the earlier side.